We are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to probably the most important AGT Time podcast of the year, the recap of the finale. Um, if you're wondering whose mysterious voice is doing this intro, we've never heard an intro like this before. This voice is not making sense. It is AGT Commenter. I won the rights to do the intro tonight because I won a resounding victory in our fantasy competition. I'm here tonight with, of course, Cody Patterson and, of course, Mr. J Bach. We're here to recap everything we saw on Tuesday and Wednesday night in the finale. I want to open the podcast before I'm interrupted by saying I'm very, very proud of my team. We were gritty. We were tough. This isn't about me. This is about the 12 acts on my team. I would be remiss to speak about my performance as their leader before I would speak about their performances on the stage. And so the congratulations and the credit really does go to those 12 acts. And so I'm so proud of this team. I think it is important to also congratulate me, considering I pretty much did all the work when it came to the actual team portion of it. They had no idea they were on the team. But as a fearless leader, I'm really proud of what we were able to accomplish. But at the end of the day, it's the 24-hour rule. We won. It's over. It's done. We're on to the next one. I'm not going to sit here and think about this victory for too long. At the end of the day, my personal favorite championship is the next one, and so that's what I'm thinking about. We're back to the drawing board. We're going to grind this off season. There's plenty of mistakes I made along the way in that draft that I can polish up. But this victory certainly is sweet, but I'm ready to move on and get ready for the next one. That's my piece. I'm proud of my team. I'm very excited about how that went down. Winning is always fun, but we're on to the next one. I'll throw it back to you guys for your thoughts and business and all of that.
Well, that was certainly the longest intro that we've ever had on our podcast. So congratulations to Commenter. Real quick, Commenter, you may want to check your volume levels. It seems like I don't know if it's on Jay, if you're hearing it on your side, it seems a little soft to me.
Yeah, all of a sudden your volume was cut way down. So
yeah, I mean, we can hear you, but it seemed a little soft. So you may want to check that while we're going through our stuff. But so Cody Patterson here, along with Jay, and we're in the finals done. AGT season 16 over, complete. Commenter wins our fantasy. Jay comes in second, and I'm looking to retool for next year. So
yes.
So guys, what'd you think? We're gonna kind of get into the 2-hour finale, as well as the 2-hour. Actually, when I rewatched on Hulu, hour and 20-minute finale, and then 2-hour results show. So Jay, real quick before we get into the show, why don't you go ahead and give us the business so everyone knows how to reach us?
Yeah, I'll give you the business. AGT Time Pod is the place to reach us on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. I think Twitter is probably where we're most active. But AGT Time Pod, and of course, we ask that you rate, review, and subscribe to our humble little podcast here. Share this with a friend if this is something that you enjoy, that you want other people to enjoy. When you overhear people talking about America's Got Talent, give us a little comment, and we appreciate that. Every little bit goes a long ways. So that's AG Time Pod is what you need to know. I didn't actually get around to reviewing a podcast this week. It's something that I've been pretty on the something that I've been doing. One that I will review, just kind of off the top of my head, is Hey Riddle Riddle. It's a it's a riddle podcast. 3 improvisers do riddles together. Super fun, super funny. If you enjoy quick wit, the those guys, they have it in spades. So, Hey Riddle Riddle is my podcast review this week. That's one that you should check out. And while you're checking out a different podcast, please rate, review, subscribe to AGT Time. And I will leave it at that. And what other business do we need to get to before we kind of walk through the actual events of this week?
I think that's about it. I'm gonna kind of tease some things. Hey, if you stick around to the end of the podcast, we're gonna be talking about what we're doing in the off season. We're kind of some small changes, but yeah, we've got some things coming down. We have AGT Extreme that's supposed to come out in the winter. So we'll talk a little bit about that when we get to the end. So you'll stick around to the end so you kind of know we're gonna be here. We're gonna be here pretty much every week throughout the off season until season 17, which I'm pretty sure season 17 will happen. So we're here. We're gonna be covering AGT. So hang out with us every week.
All right.
Yeah. Commenter. I'm sorry, Jay. Commenter. Do we have your volume a little bit better?
How are you reading me now?
Worse.
Worse.
How do your levels look? I know we've got wonderful Nick Cannon up here on the screen. So we like to keep commenters' anonymity here as much as possible. But if you could check your levels a little bit and let's see what's going on.
My levels are dangerously low, Cody.
Okay. So we might need to give you a little
dangerously low.
Dangerously low. I might need a little boost there. You're doing the AirPods?
Yeah, I got AirPods in.
Well, I don't know what changed because when we were talking offline, everything seemed fine. So I think we'll have to roll with it, Jay and commenter, and kind of just see what happens. Maybe those of us that are watching online, no one's really watching yet. Well, we may have one person watching so far, but we'll see if we can fix some of this stuff in post edit. So I think we're just gonna have to roll with it for this evening. Sound good, guys?
Yep.
Okay.
Good enough. I'll keep my ears open.
Is this better?
Oh, there
better.
It is. Oh,
Okay.
wow, there we go. Okay.
Is it too loud?
No. That's real good.
Okay. I'm just using my computer's microphone instead of the AirPods mic now.
Okay.
We'll go with that and see how that
Perfect.
works.
All right.
So what the format we're going to have this evening is we're going to recap the acts in the order that they were eliminated. Guys, if we want to go ahead and announce the winner now, or we can wait. I'm sure everyone that's listening
I
already
think
knows
you know.
who won. Yeah, if you're listening, you probably know that.
I have a few friends that really just listen to hear me and don't watch the show. So
Those are some
Okay.
great friends, like some great friends.
Yeah,
You have some
me.
of the best friends. You have some
I
awesome
have
friends.
I have a friend that also listens and doesn't watch the show, and she loves it. So
I can't even get my family to do that. So that's awesome.
okay, so we'll hold off until the end and make it a surprise for
Okay,
those
perfect.
that don't listen. I was getting ready to announce it, but we'll
Okay.
wait until the end, and that makes them stick around a little bit more. So, Jay, why don't you kick us off on our first act?
Okay, so the order that we're going to recap these is not the order that they performed, but in their order that they were eliminated. This is not necessarily the place that they got, but they divided out the bottom five from the top five. So the order that the bottom five were eliminated, and then we'll go fifth place up through first place. So the first one eliminated, she performed fourth on the performance night, is Gina Brion. She's our sassy Latina comedian. She was on my team. I drafted her actually quite low. I drafted her, but I'm really, really pleased with how she performed during the season.
The only two acts that were below her were Peter, Antonio, and K9 Stars.
Yeah.
Yes.
We had a few comedians on the season, and with she may not have been the best or the most memorable one, but they were talking about this being the year of the comedian, so she definitely outperformed her draft.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, she's our sassy Latina comedian. She's from the Bronx, New York. She talks about how this is her 4-year wedding anniversary and marriage is not easy. You need to be prepared to argue. And lucky for her husband, she wakes up every day ready to fight. So you have to appreciate the little things. Like she appreciates that her husband is forgetful and forgot that she can see the baby monitor while she's gone. And she gets to see him have a fake argument. And she says, I couldn't stop laughing at how he thinks he's going to talk to me during our next argument. So I thought it was pretty good material. I thought it was a pretty good set. Maybe not the best, not the, it didn't really have a lot of punch, but I thought this was an awfully good set from Gina Brion. What'd you guys think of her performance? I'll start with you, commenter.
She's a fine comedian. She's clearly been doing it a long time, but her comedy never really struck me this season. I just wasn't a huge fan. I think actually of all the finalists, she finished lowest on the leaderboard for me of the 10. Not even a bad. We've had some bad comedians that I struggle listening to. I had no problem listening to her, and I might have chuckled here or there, but I just never really was into it, and I wasn't into this one either. It's just. It's probably not the audience. I'm probably not the audience for her exact comedy. A lot of her comedy is about being relatable to what she's having to say, and it just doesn't really relate to me. But she's polished. She does a nice job. I just wasn't super entertained. I never really was with her. But I don't have a ton of qualms. I would say it was a fine performance. I don't think it was a finals level performance.
Yeah, I can agree or believe that you're not her target audience, because how she's a woman and Latina and from the Bronx and sassy.
Yes.
Well, maybe sassy, but
yeah, we might have similar sass levels, but other than that,
no, that's all right. She's married and has kids, and you don't. So
right.
Cody, thoughts on Gina?
Yeah, she's a little more relatable to me. I like her. I've mentioned that I think she's, of the comedians that we've seen, the lower, because we had Josh Blue, we had her, and we had Kabir Singh. Yeah, and Kabir Singh was one of my favorites. He kind of blew it in the semifinals. Yeah, so I think she still was below. And even if you want to, consider, I guess maybe they are the only two. I was trying to think of a third one that would fall into that same category. But I guess they would really be the only two comedians at least in the finals. But I like her. She's not as good as Josh Blue, but she is her comedy is very relatable to me. She's got good timing. She's got good stage presence. I love how she just comes out on the stage and just works it. I think she came out and kind of gave a little booty shake and just said, I gotta give you a little more. I gotta, so she's trying to work the crowd a little bit there. She looked fantastic in that red dress. So I thought she really stepped it up production wise. The comedy didn't feel like it was her best, but I did enjoy it.
All right. Howie said, you look great. You are great. You're really funny. You remind us that laughter is still alive and is the best medicine. Heidi said, it's so nice to listen to you and listen to everyone laugh. You're already a winner, but maybe a winner with $1 million tomorrow. Sophia said, you are so comfortable on stage. I love that your material comes as a woman's point of view. And Simon said, I think a comedian is the hardest act for the show, and I adore you. So pretty good praise from the judges. We got that mention of the $1 million, but I don't know that they're really thinking that she's a contender. And this might be the place where we kind of talk about in the finale results. She performed along with Georgia Lopez, and they felt very stiff and scripted.
George, I think George has lost a handful of steps. He seemed like he wasn't even there. It was tough.
It wasn't great, which was a little unfortunate. I don't think that's Gina's fault.
No,
it's more his than hers, and probably more on production than anybody.
Yeah,
But,
I didn't
you know,
even get the haircut bit. I didn't even understand it.
they
What was
both
the joke?
have they talk about how, you know, us Latins, we have superstitions, and
Yeah.
one of the superstitions is you give somebody a haircut before your performance for good luck, and it's not too late, and gosh darn it, here's a barber's chair, and Gina's going to cut his hair, and that was
It was a bad bit.
So
it was a bad
was,
bit, and it was
Yeah.
too bad.
yeah, it was weird.
I don't expect a ton out of the finale night. Like, I'm not looking forward to the performances on finale night anyways, but yeah, that was a tough one.
All right, anything else on Gina Brion before we move on?
Now she's going to have a good career. This is really going to boost her her cred in the comedy circuit. And it was great to have two comedians in the finals when we didn't have anything to do with comedians last season. Like comedians completely washed out in season 15. So this was great.
Yeah, I'd imagine she's taken a page out of the Ryan Niemiller book, and as soon as her face hit the Got Talent screen, she was, you know, booking gigs, and you know, when she makes it into the semis and then into the quarters, then into the semis, and then into the finals, like she's signing as many nights on the road as she can, and getting getting those ticket sales. So great for her regardless. And outperformed our expectations, which is fantastic.
Who was she paired against?
She was paired against Josh Blue.
Okay.
Yeah, they pitted the comedians, friendly fire for the comedians right away.
Yep. And we did not get one of those. It's both of you.
No, not the finals.
Nope. Gina Brion. All right. Should we talk about our second act, second eliminated act?
Yes.
We've got Jimmy Herod. He's our high voice singer. Jimmy performed first in the night. We call that the death spot, right? Killer spot. I don't remember what we call it.
Yeah, the death spot.
It's the tough spot
not looking good
from.
Not looking good for Team Cody L. Patterson.
No.
The only act left on Team Cody Patterson. He's the second act that's going to be eliminated from our whatever
fantasy leaderboard.
Our bottom five. So he in his audition sang Tomorrow from Annie. He sang Pure Imagination from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory in the quarters. He sang Glitter in the Air by Pink in the semis, which I thought was a bold choice. I did not like it. And then he goes a little bit, back more to the classics, to the show tunes with What a Wonderful World, Louis Armstrong song. Puts his own Jimmy Herod flavor on it. I enjoyed this a lot. He looked great. He had like a green suit with a yellow undershirt on. I don't know, is he going for like the Green Bay vote or the Oregon Ducks vote? Maybe the John Deere vote. I'm not sure. But I thought he looked pretty sharp. I enjoyed. He's back to singing songs the Jimmy Herod way. Like I said, I enjoyed this a lot more than the Glitter in the Air song. He's a really just terribly likable young man, right?
Yeah.
Just a beautiful smile, a just handsome person. I love the song choices, and his voice is it stands out, right? It's not another singer. It's like, oh, he's that singer. Right. Any critiques I can say, like there were moments where it felt a little bit slow, but overall, I'm not sure how he could have done better than this performance. I really, really enjoyed it. Cody, he was on your draft board. I'll let you give me your comments on Jimmy Herod.
Yeah, when he came out in that first spot, I was like, oh, he's in the death spot. This is not looking good for me. With the only act on my team, because he was my saving grace to kind of. I didn't think I was going to win, but at least make a comeback and make it close. But I thought his singing was great. I loved the long note at the very end. He just held that forever and ever and ever, thinking that at some point it was going to fade away, and it never did. It just was strong for a good probably 7 or 8 seconds. So So I really enjoyed that. I thought this was a great song choice. What a wonderful world. This is a wonderful world that we're living in. So nothing but kudos for Jimmy Herod. He was a favorite going into this season. From the very beginning, he was a favorite all the way to the end. So as a performer, to see him eliminated at this point, felt like a shock to me. Not just for being on my team, but just as a performer, to see him go. I was really for sure he was going to be a top 5 finalist.
Yeah.
Commenter, your thoughts?
He's a really talented singer. I enjoyed every one of his performances this year. He's so technically sound. I think is you're never like wondering if Jimmy's going to have a flat note. You're never like, oh no, Jimmy could be the one. There's some other singers where you're like, Victory, where you're like, this could be there. A note could go awry here. That's never going to happen with him. He's super technical. He's got that really kind of high pitch that's really nice. I think it's another case of what we're seeing now with solo singers, especially solo karaoke singers, that unless you have something behind you to give you a bump, even the golden buzzer bump, you're just, I think kind of people have moved on from that in terms of voting. I thought he was a top 5 act last night or Tuesday night, but I wasn't shocked that he went home. I think part of it had to do with the fact that he was in the dunk and save the week before, or 2 weeks, whatever semifinal was his. So that usually gives us an indication. You look at the top 4 or the top 5 last night. 4 of them, only one of them had been in a dunk and save at some point. The other 4 had never been in a dunk and save. So it's usually a pretty good snapshot of what we can kind of anticipate on finale night of who's going to get the most votes. But he's really talented. I always remember him. He was one of my favorites this year. And America did kind of wore thin on him as the season went on, but a terrific talent, and I really enjoyed him.
Yeah. I agree. I was a little surprised to see him. Well, I was surprised to see him in the dunk and save, and a little disappointed to see him in the bottom 5. But it is what it is. You have to get the vote somehow. Sophia said, "You came here, you make us go crazy for you. You brought this song, you made it your style. I'm so proud of you." Howie said, "There are no words to describe your voice. You take any classic song and make it your own because you are a classic. I've never heard a more pure voice. You made the room wonderful tonight." Heidi said, boy, that was a lot from Howie. Heidi said, "You are my favorite discovery this season. A class act and a superstar. You are worthy of the $1 million. Simon said, "I think what happened last round gave you your fire back. Tonight, you gave us a big diva point in the last 10 seconds, a big power diva note." I think pretty high praise from the judges generally. He's a memorable contestant, and I'm really glad that he was on the season.
For sure.
All right. Anything else on Jimmy Herod before we talk about the next eliminated act?
No, and I may just be noticing this, and I'm sure it's been talked about before, but all 5, except for Nightbird, all 5 golden buzzers got in. Is that right?
Into the finals.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Jimmy Herod, Victory Brinker.
The 5. Yep, the 5 that didn't withdraw. Yep.
Yeah. That's amazing.
100%.
Yep.
It is. Yep.
It's the golden buzzer bump.
It is indeed.
So maybe the judges do know what they're talking about. I don't know.
Who knows?
Okay. The third eliminated act is World Taekwondo Demonstration Team. This was one on commenters draft board.
Yeah.
They are the World Taekwondo Demonstration Team. That's what they do. Is Taekwondo. I wrote down a couple of things, not nearly as detailed as I usually do, but is a lot of breaking boards. We had like some guys on stage doing some formations, some poses, whatever they call them in Taekwondo, and then surprise, some group of guys just jumps over the judges table and runs up on the stage, and a very theatrical fight ensues.
Yes.
Just over the top, like it was ridiculous. There's people flying around, kicking boards, creating shrapnel all over the place. Seemed like maybe the fight ended with them like making peace with each other, like some kind of big handshake. Then the ladies.
Well, they say peace is more precious than triumph, I believe, is kind of their tagline. So I'm imagining that's kind of the point they're going for there.
So it was a fight scene, but only in order to have peace at the end of it.
Yes.
The ladies do some poses. A bunch of people on the stage break boards in a bunch of different ways. The ladies break some boards. They kick some bouquets of flowers, some roses. When Terry Crews comes on, he tells us 200 boards, 100 roses, 4 concrete blocks, but I think it was 16 concrete blocks. It was four times. This was great. And the whole time I was thinking, like, this belongs on a Vegas stage, right along with Unicircle Flow. But like, this is so Vegas. It's high flying, it's fast, it's big, it's loud, it's just so much. I really enjoyed it. Commenter, I'll go back to you. Thoughts on World Taekwondo?
I thought this was great. I thought this was their best of the season, to be honest. Early in the live shows, after their quarterfinals, I was a little bit disappointed in that performance. I didn't think they broke enough boards. That was kind of my main thing. And so I talked about on Twitter about BBPM, which is boards broken per minute, and that they needed to bump those numbers up. We were a little low after the quarterfinals. That was the main coaching point for Team HCT Commenter after the quarterfinals was let's bump those BBPMs up. I thought they did a good job of that in this performance. It was high flying action. They were breaking as many boards as possible, and that basically is the point of this act. Is look how high in the air we can go while also breaking boards at the same time, and they did that. I thought this was the best act of the night. They blew me away. This is exactly what I wanted to see from them. I thought it was going to be enough to get them into the top 5. I had them as the best act of the season, but I think the main point that I'll finish with them is I think they wore a little thin on America from a repetitive standpoint. We've seen that happen before. It happened with V Unbeatable. I think if V Unbeatable would have had to do one less performance, they might have been in the top 2. They end up 4th. I think it's just this type of act. It's hard to mark the differences between act performance number 1 and performance number 4, because unless you're slowing it down and frame by frame, you're just not seeing a ton of variance to the eye. It's just, they're just flying high and breaking boards again. It wears a little thin. And I think that's what ended up happening, but they're one I'll always remember as a really, really terrific act and my number 1 pick. And I was very excited to have them. And I really enjoyed World Taekwondo this season.
All right, Cody.
Yeah, I'm with you on this. This was a very exciting performance, and the three of us we're analyzing this a little deeper than the average, the casual American viewer. So we're seeing
other people aren't doing BBPMs at home looking at boards broken per minute. Okay,
right? No, they're not doing that. They're not calculating that the performance was 3 minutes and 23 seconds. They're not doing that stuff. They're sitting back on their couch with some popcorn and a drink, and they're watching them break boards and break blocks, and it's the same people each time. And to them, there's no difference, but to us, we're seeing all the differences. We noticed that them jumping over the judges table and starting a fight, which I thought was really cool. They look like ninjas just coming out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. And then, breaking boards differently and doing different types of acts. And it was way more exciting. There, as you call it, the BBPM seemed higher this time. Terry said 200 boards and 100 roses, and which I think is a terrible way to treat roses, but boards is one thing, but when you go after roses, that's where I draw the line. But I really, really, really enjoyed this. I'm not sure it was the best of the night, but it was, in my opinion, at least top 2 or 3. I think this is the perfect act for Vegas. I go along with what you guys said. It's the perfect act for Vegas. They're not going to have any issues. They're going to get tons of. They're a demonstration team already, so they're already getting tons of gigs and whatnot. So they'll continue to do very well.
Yeah.
But you did rank it as the best act of the night. So on our power rankings.
Oh, I did. Well, there you
Yeah.
go. So
Yeah, they performed fifth of the night. At that time, Howie said, "This is the best act of the night. I believe you are. If you come and see this live, I could watch this the whole night." Heidi said, "It's so exciting. I was screaming the whole time. This is exciting. It's insane what you do." Simon said, "I was getting a bit bored of you. And then tonight was brilliant. That's how you put on a show. Best act of the night so far." Sophia said, "I want to make your movie. All the time spent doing this. You deserve to be here in the finals." So judges were kind of all over the board.
Yep.
The boards were all
I-
over the judges, maybe is what. Haha.
I want to
did-
note. Oh, go ahead, Cody.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think it needs to be noted that it's unbelievable that there's not some extensive splintering in their feet. I mean, the amount of shrapnel and boards that's laying on that stage, and they're still running full speed, jumping, landing. A lot of trust that the boards aren't going to impale them on the ground. That part, as much as anything, always blew me away. That they were just, yeah, you know what, they're probably not going to hurt us. I just really was. You almost like, oh, watch out! There's another board. Like when they land every time, it's quite the production.
Now, I think it was the last time that they performed. I think in the semifinals, Jay had a theory that these are breakaway boards and not actual boards.
Yeah, 100% they are. This is not, I'm pretty sure any type of like karate show where you're putting on like some type of performance, I think you're using pretty friable boards to make sure. Big word from AGT commenter, no big deal, friable. For people at home that never heard it, Google it. But
That's right. Look it up. There you go.
I think that is definitely the case because some of them break very easily.
Yeah. I did have one production note when I was watching it back on Hulu and I had my headphones on. The stereo, I heard like everything happening in stereo. So when they would break a board, when they would break a board or would land on the ground, I could hear it out of the different ears. So that was a really cool feeling to kind of hear the stereo sound of them of when the boards would break and hit the ground.
That is cool.
Yeah, and I thought I had something to say, but I forgot it was. So that's cool. Anything else on World Taekwondo Demonstration Team?
Who were they matched up against?
They were up against Aiden Bryant.
Okay.
So kind of similar vein of aerialist martial arts. It's a variety. Something you're doing with your body. So
that was a team AGT commenter friendly fire elimination there. One through, one home, kind of a bittersweet result there.
Yep.
Yeah, I started having a theory as I was rewatching this that were they eliminated opposite where their counterpart finished. So who the winner was, where they matched up against 10th place, and then second where they might, but it seemed like they were matched up against another act in their category.
Yeah,
they were kind of trying to match them up that way, I think.
Yeah, very much so. Let's talk about that out. Let's talk that out for a second. We had Gina Brion and Josh Blue, right? Our Canadians.
Yeah.
We had Aiden Bryant and World Taekwondo, both acrobatics. We had Victory Brinker and Brooke Simpson, our female singers. We had Northwell Nurse Choir and Dustin Tavella, which were all about the feels. We had Jimmy Harrod and Leah Kyle, which are leftover.
Gold buzzers.
Gold buzzers, sure.
Yeah.
Go with that. I would say they matched them up more on style, if there was any intention behind that. So after World Taekwondo, the last act eliminated not last act eliminated.
Last in the bottom five.
Last in the bottom five is Victory Brinker. She's our young little opera singer. She was on Team AGT Commenter.
Yes.
In her auditions, she sang Juliet's Waltz. Quarters, she sang Casta Diva. She sang Nessun Dorma in the semis. And then this time she's going to sing a song called O Mio Babino Caro, which translates to Oh My Dear Papa, which is from the opera Gianni Schicchi in 1918.
Yes.
It's a very short song. I Wikipedia this. It's only 32 bars long. Performs generally in 2.5 to 3 minutes. So I didn't have a whole lot to say about it. Maybe is why I went down this rabbit trail. She's a really fantastic opera singer for a 9-year-old.
Yes. That's a great way to put it.
But she's not a fantastic opera singer compared to professional opera singers. And I think that this is as high as she's going to go, is make it into the finals. But I don't feel like this is a winning talent yet. Some training with some years under her belt, with some maturity. She's got really a beautiful future in front of her. I enjoyed watching her. I enjoyed her being on the screen, but this wasn't something that just grabbed my heart or sort of shook me to the core at all. It was nice.
Yep.
Cody, any thoughts on Victory Brinker?
Yeah, and it's very well known. I've not been big on her since the very beginning. She does seem to have improved. I mentioned this last time. She's improved each week, so she is obviously seeing a voice coach, which I give her props for. So she has gotten better, but I still don't feel that she's a finalist act. I don't even think she should have been here in the first place. But I digress on that, because as she's moved from week to week, she has gotten better. But just not a finalist act. There's pitchiness, there's screechiness. I'm going to kind of tease a little bit into the results show real quick, because I've just got to get this out there. She was partnered up with Pentatonics.
Yes,
Yeah.
Cody's
And
favorite
when
band.
you put Gina Brion and Jay, this literally happened when Victory sang with Pentatonics. I literally put my headphones down and I had to leave the room.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Cody loves
so-
Pentatonics.
So that was the last straw. They had gone over the line at that point. And yes, I'm probably going to get some tweets on that, and that's fine. I've never been a Pentatonics fan either. I know that they have a huge following. That's great. I hope you all really enjoy them. I don't. And when they had the two of them together, I just couldn't handle it. So it was a relief to see her eliminated at this point. It would have been a nightmare for her to move on to the top 5. Yeah.
Okay. Commenter, do you have
real-
anything you want to?
Oh, I have one more thing, real quick. Fun fact: Laura Breton sang this exact same song in Champions.
That's a great segue, Cody, for me, because the first point I wanted to make was this song this song is like, it's like a Harlem Globetrotters victory. Like, if you show up to a Harlem Globetrotters game, they're gonna win. They're just gonna kick the heck out of the Generals. Happens every time.
Yes.
You show
Yep.
up to a talent show and there's an opera singer, you're going to hear this song at some point. It's just going to happen.
That's right.
It's like you can write it in stone that at some point somebody is going to sing this song if they're an opera singer on a talent show. She started singing. I'm like, I'm pretty sure this has happened at a finals before with somebody. I don't know, but it's a classic song to sing if you're an opera singer. The other point, I want to go back to our draft. When I picked her, I held off as long as I could, and you guys just kept not picking her as well. So eventually I just took her. It was in the high teens or maybe even lower than that. I can't quite remember. I think it was the high teens. And when I picked her, I said I didn't really want her on my team. But if by the grace of God in the last 5 months she's gotten better, then this is a great pick. It turned out she did get better in the last 5 months. and it turned out to be a good pick. I was really excited about that. She did improve, I thought, every week. I still don't think she's, I don't think she's an incredible performer by any means, but I was really impressed with her live show performances, because I did think they were clearly better than her audition, which me and Cody have talked about on our rewatchables before, how important it is to have your best performances be later in the season. We don't want to peak at the auditions, which I always kind of, give kudos points there. This was a nice performance. I thought it was fine. I wasn't blown away, but she impressed me, the poise she had as the live shows went on, but she's a good opera singer. That's how I'll put that.
What you said leads in well to the judge's comments, or at least Simon's comments. He said, tonight, I thought you were in a different league than in any of your other performances. Then he talks about the X Factor and how you have a glow about you tonight that's special, like the X Factor. I think you could win the show after that. Sophia says, you have a chance to win the show. You picked the perfect dress and song. It may not be a Vegas show, but you can win. Howie said, you're inspiring to humanity. You found your passion and you work on it. You're a star. Heidi said, you look like a winner. You sound like a winner. You could not have done anything better. You are perfection. So awfully high praise from the judges. I think we, in general, aren't quite as high on her as the judges are. But, I'm not going to take anything away from her. She's done beautifully. She outperformed expectations, and I'm proud of her. She should be very, very proud of herself.
Was this a good opportunity for Simon to tease that the X Factor is coming back?
Is it coming back?
I have no idea. I was just saying.
Okay. Yeah, Cody.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Is that a spoiler for him to say that that the tease that the X Factor might be coming back? But
it would have been a good move.
Yep. So real quick search online. Oh Mio Bambino, Jackie Ivanko.
Finals?
Laura, huh?
Did she sing it in the finals, Jackie Ivanko?
It doesn't say.
I think she might have. Yeah, sorry.
You're asking for details.
Yeah,
no,
that's
my
fault.
Darcy Lynn sang it.
Darcy
really?
Lynn sang it.
When?
Yep. I think it did say quarters. Sorry, in champions finals.
Gotcha. I was gonna say she didn't sing it in her season. No. Okay.
No, she sang it in champions finals. And then of course Laura Breton and Victory Brinker.
Yeah,
so.
I mean it's the go-to song. It really is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's enough on Victory Brinker, I think. Now, okay, so she was the fourth act eliminated. The fifth act eliminated then is Northwell Health Nurse Choir. They were on my draft board. They've got all the feels. Their first time, their audition, they sang "Lean on Me," mashed together with "Stand by Me." I thought that was a really great mashup. In that same vein, in the quarters, they sang "You Will Be Found." In the semis, they sang "Don't Give Up on Me." This time, they're going to sing Rachel Platten's "Stand by You." I don't have much for notes on this. They wore red, which was an aggressive choice.
Yeah, it popped.
Yeah, I have notes on that.
But it's great. They do what they do very, very well. As far as a choir goes, I think they're a pretty good choir. As far as an act goes, I feel like finals, they should make the finals. They should not be a winning act, which is what they did. I'm proud to have had them on my team. I think I earned the points that I expected out of them. Commenter, we'll go to you with first thoughts on Northwell Health Nurse Choir.
Yeah. So first of all, I've said a few times this season that this is Wardrobe's all-time favorite act by far. This is, you can basically scratch them from wardrobe fittings. They're literally just bringing their clothes from home and using those, which is nice. Really a dream for the wardrobe department. But man, this show, I don't know what it is about choirs, but I have a real, I don't know. I hate them. I hate choirs. I've been ruined for. So I went back, and I think it's now a 4th straight season where the choir that was on, I felt wronged by them for one way or another. And so I really had a really bad run on choirs, making me feel sad and bad during the season. So I'm pretty much fully out on choirs now. This is a nice choir. They sang well. Refresh me. You went through the songs they sang. Was this a repeat? Did they sing this song?
No, they sang "Stand by Me" and "Lean on Me" in the auditions.
And
They
this
sang
was
found in the court. This is "Stand by You."
okay. See, that's so confusing. You can't be singing songs that are that similar and expect us at home to mark the differences there. But no, it's a solid act. It's "Stand by You, Stand by Me." I couldn't remember, but nonetheless, they're a solid act. They picked a great time to come on the show. They picked their time that gave them the best chance, and they're clearly all great people that are putting in the hard work to keep the world moving along this year. These last year and a half, seems like we're closing on 2 years now. But so I didn't think they were a finals level talent. I understand why they're here. That's not lost on me, but I had no problem with them being in the bottom 5.
Yeah, Nurse Choir in 2019, summer of 2019, is also ran forgettable.
Yeah, that
Nurse
goes home
Choir-
at the judge gods.
Nurse Choir in summer of 2021 it's a home run.
Yeah,
So
100%. Timing
not
is
a grand
everything.
slam, but a home run.
100%.
It's like spoken word in 2020.
Yeah, it was it was what we call a perfect confluence of events.
There you look at you. Man, what's the SAT words tonight?
I know. I'm smarter than I give off on Twitter.
Cody, do you have any extra thoughts on Northwell Health Nurse Choir?
Yeah. So red is a terrible choice for nurses.
Yeah.
It really is. It's an absolute terrible choice. My sister-in-law is a nurse, and what they tell me, what I've been told, is that nurses, or at least in the hospital she works in, that nurses are assigned different colors based on what they do and where they work. So some may wear blue, somewhere may green, somewhere may yellow, pink, whatever it may be. It's so that the patient can identify the difference between a nurse and also a doctor, but also different types of nurses. Red for a nurse is terrible. Red, as you mentioned, is an aggressive color, and you don't want your nurse to look aggressive in a hospital. You want it to be very soothing. So I think the blues,
we're not in a hospital for the performance, Cody.
No,
on the
but
freaking AGT stage, we came
but
here
there
to
should
win.
not be. Should be red scrubs at all. Nurses shouldn't even be wearing red scrubs at all. Period. The blues that they've been wearing is more natural and looks more soothing.
Play the hits.
Yeah. Don't. And all of a sudden, it looked terrible with the production, the lighting, and the what was going on, the stage effects. It didn't blend well with all of that. So nurses, don't do red ever. Do not do red. Stick with the nice, soothing, calming colors. The song choice was fine. I mean, they've been on these feel songs the entire summer. It's right up their alley. Like you say, play the hits. That's exactly what they do, is these feel songs. They did their signature sway. It's the nurse sway.
Yes.
Touch
so
and box
yeah.
steps and
Yep. I don't remember. They probably featured one of their nurses out there, singers. I don't remember. But that's what they typically do. They've kind of done the same thing every time. But yes, they're the nurses. It's who they are. If they'd moved on, I think you had them winning, right? That's who you're.
So here's what I did. I
Yeah.
took a flyer. I thought, you know what? They've gone straight through both the quarters and the semis. So they were one of the acts I had pegged as potential winner from that standpoint. And I thought, hey, America might go all in on the choir. We've seen that. We've seen people go all in on causes in the past and things of that nature. I was wrong, but maybe I'll just say it now. I had 8 out of the 10 that I thought you could make a case for that they might win after Tuesday night. I don't think there was a bad prediction. Personally, for me, I thought Gina didn't have a chance, and I didn't think Leah Kyle had a chance. Were my two that I had picked that had dipped low enough, and I thought just weren't as good. But yeah, I thought they were going to win. I took the maybe the smart pick. I don't know, maybe not. But I didn't want them to win, but I thought maybe they were going to get that vote, but didn't. That did not come to fruition. Another good word.
Yeah, it was a little shocker to see them not get put through to the top 5.
Yeah, I was
figured
surprised.
for sure they would. Yeah, I figured for sure they were going to be in the top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
Do not wear nurses.
Just,
do not wear red. Do not wear red.
Nurses.
If you take anything away from this podcast, nurses do not wear red.
Oh man.
I just pulled up our power ranking sheet here, and holy moly, we are all over the board.
Yeah.
Wow. I think worth mentioning before we move on too far here, we all 3 had World Taekwondo as our number 1, and they did not make the top 5.
Yeah.
So
we don't know America like we think we do, guys.
Well, so when I do my power rankings, I'm doing, what did Jay enjoy the most?
Right, 100%.
And it is not what do I think will happen. It's what do I like?
Yeah, me too.
I'm okay with being different than America. What I really ought to do is, rank them and then just flip them.
Yeah. It's like the better that's on a cold streak. You decide what you think is actually going to happen and then bet the opposite side of it because you can't get a pick right. Kind of the same idea.
Yeah. Yep.
Fade yourself.
All right. So there's Northwell Health and their Squire. Sophia said, "What a treat. The truth is you guys are good and an inspiration." Heidi said, "No matter who walks away with $1 million, tomorrow you will walk away with 1 million thank yous. You are really talented heroes." Simon said, "You've been consistently incredible. Your message, story, optimism. I know I've said it a lot, but you could win this." And Howie said, "I think you probably will win this. You're the lifeblood of what AGT is about." High praise. I expect them to be in the top 5 based on that, but unfortunately they did not sneak through.
Yep.
All right,
we have a top 5.
Let's get to the top 5 then. Jimmy Harad was posted against Leah Kyle. Leah Kyle's going to be our 5th place finisher. She's our quick change artist. Her act, she starts out in a bank vault, I think, and then glitter makes her change from black into silver, and she's now in a museum, so maybe it was like a museum vault, I'm not exactly sure, and she's gonna like change her clothes with the works of art around her. So there's this Mona Lisa that has like this wacky colored dress on, and her, bada boom bada bing, her dress matches that, and then she pops a balloon and changes into a red dress, and then like she touches these paintings, it goes purple, yellow, pink, green, gold, then she uses a hula hoop to change from gold to green, and then gold confetti, she's in a ball gown. It's good. Commenter, I get your dislike, your lack of appreciation for Leah Kyle, but this is good. Like,
yeah,
I can't do this. I don't know anybody that can do this.
Right.
I do think she'll have a hard time winning based on her whole body of work. But I could also, I could make a case for how she could win. So I guess I'll throw it to you. What did you think of Leah Kyle's this particular performance?
I had a lot of thoughts on this. Cody, first of all, can I get a timestamp on her? How long was this actual, not stage time, I want start to finish performance?
Yeah. So, okay. First off, let me just say she didn't start. She was the second act of the night, right?
Yeah.
She didn't start. She didn't perform until 30 minutes into the show.
Yeah. It was an insane opening to the show. Insane.
Yes. Her total time.
After Jimmy Harad, I want to throw this in there because I wrote it down.
Yeah.
After Jimmy Harad, it was commercial break, and then a recap of the entire season, and
Yes.
then Leah's intro package, and
Then a
then
commercial.
another commercial break, and
And
then,
then-
her performance.
Yeah. And
so
so
it
Cody,
must take something to set up for Leah Kyle.
that and Cody, so do you have the actual runtime of her performance?
So
It had to be about 70 seconds.
her her performance was a minute 20.
I had it lower than that on the Twitter video of her performance. But yeah, I mean, it was under a minute and a half. It was shockingly short. And to me, it's like, I get maybe there's a lot of setup to this, but you can only drum up, 75, 80 seconds for the finale.
Yeah.
That's it. Like,
no. You guys have it all wrong. The faster it is, the more impressive it is.
okay,
She
but
did
just keep going fast
how
for
many
another
dress
45
changes?
seconds.
No.
Yeah.
To do it for 45 more seconds, you have to go slower.
Okay, well then is her Vegas act just going to be 60 seconds and then she's going to say thanks for coming?
This isn't about the Vegas act. This is about this
I know.
performance. This
I agree.
performance is more impressive because it's faster.
Okay, the speed is fine, but it was super short, one. And two, she's so choppy. She has no sense of timing. And that was what bothered me her entire live show. I thought she trended downward from her audition drastically in the live shows. And it was her, I mean, it's so obvious. She walks up to a wall and she stands there like a board straight up and down against the wall and waits for the dress to get pulled off. And then you can see the dress is flying on a string through and then hitting her. And she like hit the wall for it to change and she's off by a beat. I just didn't enjoy her act at all. Quick change, wears thin. I think really quickly, it's the same thing every time. It's just clothes falling off, clothes flying on, and that's about it. She seems nice. So I'll say that, but this act did not impress. I was shocked she was top 5. I thought this was the worst act of the night. I don't care how many things you do in 75 seconds. You can't at the finals walk out there and do a 75-second performance. You have to have something more than that, because if you don't do more than a 75-second performance, we only get a recap of the season for no reason to fill your time that you couldn't fill in with your performance. So
We
I
got a
totally,
season recap
because her
in the
performance
live
was so
show.
short. Because her
Yes,
performance was so
yes.
short. Her performance was about as long as Peter Antonio's hello to the crowd. I mean, that's how short this performance was. And
Yeah.
it blew me away. You got to bring something more than 65, 75, 80 seconds to the table for the finals. Like it ended and I was like, Simon was like, that was quick. Like that's all we could drum up. I'm probably running long here. I have a lot of anti-Leah Kyle takes. Her magic is sloppy. You can see every trick happening. The last trick of the night before the confetti, you could see her putting her hand on her
Yes.
side, like getting ready to pull the lever for the thing
Yes.
to change. I'm like, this is so bad. I thought she was terrible. I will go to my grave standing on the anti-Leah Kyle hill. I'll die right on that hill if I need to. I'm so far out on her. I can't believe it. All right. I'm done.
Those watching should just see Jay right now. Just like
Cody, do you have anything to say about Leah Kyle's performance?
yeah. So to kind of put this in a little perspective, Victory Brinker's performance was 218. Leah Kyle's entire total screen time was less than, and we haven't gotten there yet, Dustin Tavella's performance and Josh Blue's performance.
Yeah.
Like her total screen time was less than their performance.
It was short. It was shockingly short.
Yes, it was so short. But everyone, like as we were live tweeting and watching this live, everyone was so baffled. Like, did we miss something? Like we've only seen one act, right? So
Yeah.
we're like 25 minutes in, and we're doing a season recap during the live show. Not during the results show, the live show. We're doing a season recap. I was baffled by this. Production really let us down the first half of the episode.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, production wise, like if it's going to take this much work to set the stage up for her, she really ought to be first. You know, like
she should be
Right.
first. Yes.
you
Yeah.
know, like the Kinetic King, right? He's going to spend
Yep.
54 hours setting up this, whatever contraption. You know, like if that's what it takes, then go ahead and put her on first. So like I don't know, I don't really have a problem with that. I had her on my team. I'm proud of her. I'm proud of her performance. Honestly, I thought this was better than the last one.
Mhm.
Her body of work maybe wasn't as good, but I think that this performance, I'm okay with it being short because that means you did more tricks in less time.
Yeah. What's the is it the what's the OCPM, the outfit change per minute?
Changes per minute. The
Through the
OCPMs.
roof.
She did have high OCPMs. I will give her that. But I will say, Jay, you do seem shocked by my anti comments. I'm not alone. Okay, I did tweet after her semifinals how sloppy it was. It was a very anti Leah Kyle tweet, and it did really well. Probably one of my best tweets of the season. I got 35 likes, 5 retweets, and 7 responses to that tweet. I think I was shocked she went through because I had seen so much visceral anger towards her horrendous magic over the last few weeks that I thought there was no way she was going to be a top 5. But yeah, I didn't like her, but seems nice. Seems very, very nice.
I will concede that there were parts that seemed slow.
Yeah.
Her personal stage present isn't fantastic, but
Right.
I think her tricks, even having a sense of how they're done, like they're really pretty good, and I'm okay with that, and I'm okay with her being top 5.
Yeah. So let me kind of go back to my observations real quick. That yes, this was better than her. I think her semifinals, maybe the quarterfinals, where she was just all over the place. She had so many mistakes. This was, I'm going to say, smoother in the sense that other than like her putting her hand on her hip, I didn't really notice the changes at all. I thought it was I liked the quickness between when she was going, was it Heidi and then Simon and then Howie and then Sophia? I thought that was really good. The outfit flying through the air is not needed. That's unnecessary. But we've not seen a quick change artist like her. We had David and Danya back in season 1. And I haven't really done the research of if we've seen a quick change artist. I'm sure we've had quick change artists, but she's unlike any that we've seen before.
Yeah.
The OCPMs, she keeps up her OCPMs, but
yes,
if she wins and she has a Vegas act, it might be the Landau Eugene Murphy Jr. situation where he's part of a bigger show. He comes out and does one song and then disappears.
Yeah.
So she comes out, does a minute and a half quick change, and then she's done for the night.
Yeah,
I'm cool with that.
I got one. I'll say my last final piece, and then we can move on to 4th place. The thing that separates her from other quick changes is it's not behind a curtain, right? Most quick changes you see, they go behind the curtain, and that is part of what makes her, I still think above other quick change. I'm not a quick change fan, but there's also a problem with that. You can see everything happening, and it almost becomes too much. But you're seeing so much of it, and it was just so obvious. She's just walking up and standing right against the wall, and then once she gets to the wall, then the outfit change happens. I don't know. Maybe I'm picking it apart too much, but I'll give her credit that she does quick change in a way that no one else does by having it out in the open. But at the same time, quick change kind of shouldn't be out in the open because it's kind of supposed to be mysterious, I guess, maybe. And so, but hey, she got 5th place. I'm sitting here at home talking about it. So she's got a leg up on me, I suppose, but I'm ready to move on to 4th place.
Okay.
Well, first we have to do judges' comments. Heidi said,
Yes.
You've been amazing all season. Today was the best. You are amazing. Sophia said, that was your best performance. You're super creative and beautiful, and you came with a story today, which might have had some plot holes, maybe.
Yeah.
Simon said, I have one criticism. It was too quick. It was a step up from what we've seen so far. I believe you are the best in the world at quick change. Howie said, this was the best I've seen, best in the world. This was your best performance yet. You picked 10 outfits and every outfit was amazing. So I'd say generally pretty high praise from the judges there too. Simon has the same critique that you guys did, that it was too quick. And I can I can joke or whatever and say, like that's the point, is for it's supposed to be quick.
Yeah.
But she was, middle of the pack, regardless. I'm not sure that she had a good shot at winning, but I'm not surprised that she snuck into the top 5.
So it would have been real interesting. Like, it'd be interesting to be a fly on the wall in like the production room of, hey, so it like takes 20 minutes to set up Leah Kyle's state production. Can we put her first? And they're like, nah, we were really expecting Peter Antonio to be here in the finals. And we need to fill that time. So we're gonna put her second. So you guys can we'll put a recap in.
We were kind of hoping to squeeze it. We were kind of hoping to squeeze a season recap in. So we're gonna have her go second.
Yeah.
Just insane.
Since we didn't have Peter Antonio in the finals, we've got to fill that time somehow. So.
Yeah.
All right. That's enough on Leah Kyle. You guys can stop ragging on her now. Fourth place is going to go to Brooke Simpson. She's on AGT Commenters team. In her auditions, she's our Native American, wants to be the first like Native American pop star. In her auditions, she sang "Cause I Love You." Quarters, she sang "Lost Cause." Semis, she sang "Bad Habits." This time, she's going to sing "White Flag," which is 4 songs in a row that I do not know. She has a great stage presence. She looks great doing it. She owns the stage, the whole stage. She really does have like a great voice. But by the end of every single one of these songs, I'm bored. I don't love this style of music, and I'm try as I might to be engaged, it's just what you call a karaoke style singer. So commenter, if you want to give me some comments as to why she's better than what I see, I'd appreciate that.
I love her. She's awesome. If you can point me in the direction of a karaoke show with this kind of flair and excitement, I'd love to see it. I get she is a karaoke singer, but I think as much as just about any karaoke singer we see had a really good sense of the stage, a sense of how to put on a performance when you're singing. She was exciting. I thought I was always entertained. I didn't actually know many of her songs either that she was singing, but I was always entertained because she was so powerful and emotional with it. And there was so much behind the performances. I really, really enjoyed this performance. I just loved, she kind of brought this grittiness to the stage of throwing the mic stand, dropping the mic, her earrings flying off because she's singing so hard. She blew me away. I felt like I didn't see this coming from her. I picked her 26th in the fantasy draft. I did have her, credit to me, I did have her power ranked at 10 on my big board. She was number 10 on my big board for the draft, but I got her at 26. So great value that turned into even better value by her getting all the way to 4th place. But I was really entertained by her, as entertained by her as anybody else this season. And I was really, really excited what she was able to do. But this performance, I just felt like had so much power and emotion and kind of that grit and toughness of a singer, which is kind of a weird thing to say, but there's just so much behind it, and power and emotion and all that. I just love it. Cody, I don't know if you loved it as much as me. I know you had her power rank similar to me, but
yeah, commenter, you had her second, Cody had her third, and I had her in the bottom half at 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's one of the few singers that I did enjoy this season. I didn't recognize any of the songs either. Now I did hear the song she sang last week by Ed Sheeran. I had heard Ed Sheeran sing it during the NFL stuff, so it's incredible to hear that song twice, two different ways in the same week.
Yeah.
But I didn't know any of the songs, but I found them fun. It was hard to sing. It was hard to sing along because you didn't know them, but they were poppy. She's all over the stage. She had good stage production, good background effects. She didn't just stand at the mic and be. I don't think she felt. I didn't feel like she was a karaoke singer. She didn't just stand there. She was all over the stage. She owned the stage. She played to the camera. She played to the audience. That adds a little bit for me. Yeah, I enjoyed it, and I think I've mentioned all season, Jay, that I've liked the singers. She's one of the few that I've really, really liked.
Yeah, fair enough. Judge's comment. Sophia said, "You are the perfect example of someone coming to the finals and raising their game." Simon said, "We love you because every time you come on stage, you give us every ounce of your talent and soul. After that performance with that song, you've given yourself a shot at winning this." Howie said, "You are on fire. You gave yourself a mic drop and mic stand drop moment." And Heidi said, "I hope your career is as big as the notes you hit. I think you're amazing." So, those comments aren't like you are going to win. You've already won this. You're the $1 million act. But, it does sound like top half kind of commentary.
I thought she was going to be second. I really did. Fourth place, a little bit surprised me. I thought top three for sure was kind of my sense. And I was one spot off there, but I thought she was going to be runner up. But fourth place is obviously very, very good.
It's a pretty good showing. All right. Any more on Brooke Simpson?
All right. Loved having her on my team.
So our top three then are Aiden Bryant, Josh Blue, and Dustin Tavella. Third place of those three is going to go from team One Man Bander, Josh Blue. He's our stand-up comedian. He has a bunch of jokes about his right arm tonight and how his right arm doesn't listen to him. It's up at night writing emails. Who you writing emails to? Some clubfoot in Kansas. Ordering stuff on Amazon, and it gets I still don't know where he got this watch, but he's getting like 78,000 steps a day. He talks about how I thought I had a way with animals, but I just realized I make a lot of crumbs. It says that Botox was originally invented to help people with cerebral palsy, and they discovered that it gets rid of wrinkles. And it said, "So we can fix your croat foot. The guy with the twisty arm can wait." And then he says, "I like that joke because you can feel a weird energy in the room. It's the people with Botox trying to frown." Right, Simon? So another dig at Simon. I thought it was really good content. Josh Blue does a great job of making light of his kind of crappy situation in life with the cerebral palsy. But again, he's terribly likable. I don't have a lot to say. I'm disappointed that he only got third. I thought maybe he could sneak into number two or even number one. I thought it was a great set. I thought that he was giving it a good shot. But Cody, I'll go to you on this one. What did you think of Josh Blue's performance?
Yeah, I felt all season that Josh Blue's been one of the better comedians in the group above Gina Brion. But I didn't feel this was his best one. I liked it, but I didn't feel it was great until the Botox joke at the end. It just seemed like he was kind of all over the place during the set. And I know he's trying to make light of his situation, but I feel he should try to start telling some different jokes. It's good to be relatable to what you're going through, and he's telling jokes about his life, and I totally get it. It'd be great to kind of fit some other types of jokes in there, to kind of just mix things up a little bit. He's great. He is great. He is great. And I think he's the last comic standing win is a good notch in his belt. Finishing third here is a great notch in his belt. We've had great comedians finish in the top three that have gone on to be wonderful. We've talked to two of them. Maybe we can make it number three.
That'd be great. I think that to your point of like try some other material besides the self-effacing stuff, but he does make fun of Simon, and that's
he does.
Always kind of the biggest hit.
Mhm.
Commenter, did you have thoughts on Josh Blue?
Yeah, I love Josh. I liked him at the end of the season more than at the beginning of the season. I thought this was an incredible set. That final joke that brought the house down. I was trying to think back. I don't remember that big of a laugh from the judges table than that joke. I mean, Simon nearly passed out, and credit to him for having the sense of humor and the self-awareness to know that he has an incredible amount of Botox in his face. And you could tell, I knew it was coming. Like, he made the Botox joke and there was a long pause and they showed Simon and you're like, oh, he's going to make or it was more like, is he going to make a Simon joke? Like, there's clearly one sitting here, but is he going to have the gut, the cojones to actually say it? And you could tell Simon was kind of waiting for it as they flashed to him. And he's kind of sitting there like, I think he's kind of talking about my Botox. My face is kind of saggy. And then all of a sudden, boom, he says it, and credit to Simon. I mean, he let out probably one of the bigger laughs I'd ever seen him let out on the show. I was really impressed with this. I love him. We've seen the self-deprecating humor be something that works very, very well on this show. Ryan Niemiller went to that well all season as well, and took himself also to a third place finish. It works. It's something that, making fun of a disability like that you have, people don't get to laugh at that kind of thing usually, right? They're not going to see somebody with cerebral palsy and start laughing. But now you make the jokes about it, you get it laughing at stuff. It's jokes that they never hear because no one's making jokes about cerebral palsy. And so I think that is why those jokes play on a show like this instead of just your average run-of-the-mill relationships jokes that Gina's making and Kabir is making. Every comedian's making those jokes, and everybody at home is making those jokes in their regular lives. People aren't just making cerebral palsy jokes or, Ryan Niemiller's. At least hope not. People aren't making those jokes in real life because they shouldn't be. And so that's what this kind of comedian is able to do is channel these jokes that nobody else is thinking of, nobody else is saying, hopefully. And it's why I think it is a recipe for success for comedians.
Yeah, no, that's good insight on that. The only judge's comment we got was from Heidi. She said,
yeah, that was weird.
I remember last time Simon asked for this and you were even naughtier this time. And that was really all we got from judges' comments on this.
I think the laugh after his final joke went so long, and kind of the build up and everything after, and he took up too much time, and they had to cut away. I think it was very odd. Either that or the recap at the beginning of the episode ran a little long, and they were crunched for time. One of the two.
Leah Kyle went a little long. They're trying to catch up.
Yeah, they're like, she was only supposed to go 60 seconds, not 75.
All right, so that's third place, Josh Blue. Any extra thoughts on him before we move into the top two?
No, love him. He's great.
Yep.
All right, so top two then are Aiden Bryant and Dustin Tavella, both on AGT Commenters team.
Who didn't see this coming? The top two that was written in the stars from opening night. This was a shocking top two.
Where did you draft these two?
Yeah, I do. Hold on, I do have that.
Certainly not 1 and 2.
No, I picked Dustin was my my fifth pick, so 14th overall, so not terrible. And then Aiden was my eighth pick at 23 overall. So Dustin, I had a little sense for him, but yeah, I mean, he was still fifth. It wasn't like I was like, yeah, look at this, I got the winner, or Aiden, I got the winner, one way or the other. Like these weren't people I had pegged for top two. But I think we'll get to it. We'll get to it after about how open the season was. But yeah.
So when it's down to these two, who were you thinking would be second place, Cody?
I was thinking it was going to be Dustin Tavella. There was no way I was thinking that this guy could win.
Okay.
They've commented all season that he is a great storyteller, but his magic, it's all right. It's above average, I'm gonna say. One of the tricks that we saw him do, I think it was what, quarterfinals, we've seen many magicians do that particular trick. So it didn't seem
Yeah.
original to me. He never seemed to be one that was always high on our draft boards. Dustin Tavella, actually, I had him ninth, you had him 10th, and commenter had him 5th. So
Okay. So
Homer pick,
you-
gonna have
okay.
those sometimes.
so you thought Dustin Tavella would
would be
get
runner up.
second place and Aiden would be
Yes.
first. Okay, commenter, who did you
Yes.
think would be second?
I thought Aiden was going to be second. I wanted Aiden to win, but I felt like the Twitter had told me over the last few weeks that Dustin had some momentum behind him. I felt like at that point with those two standing there, I'm like, it would be. I actually would be more shocked if Aiden won. Just like, oh, one of the winner of. We've never had an aerialist win. I just felt like magician was the more likely to get a vote than the aerialist. So I as much as I was hoping it was Aiden, who I thought was better, I had a sense that Dustin was gonna win and Aiden would be second. So
Sure.
that's kind of where I was feeling.
Yeah. Well, I power ranked Dustin 10th out of 10. So I
Yeah.
kind of expected Aiden Bryant to be the winner and Dustin to be second. But second place does in fact go to Aiden Bryant. As we mentioned, he's our aerialist. Video package, he talks about how he's always been a little different. He saw Pink doing stunts in her concert on YouTube when he was 14. I don't know, this time he's going to perform on like one long fabric loop, like hangs from his hips and the back of his neck and under his armpits. He ties himself up and unties himself, and he spins very fast. Does a thing where he hangs by one foot. That was kind of fun, kind of cool. One arm at the elbow. His last trick, I suppose, is probably the most interesting one. He kind of gets his foot tied up in it, and he stands upright as he's raised up from the ground, and then he drops, so he's hanging by just his feet.
Had to hurt the hip.
I mean, it's a pretty cool move. Simon gives him a standing ovation from on top of the desk.
First time I think we've seen that.
So that's weird. Yeah, I don't know. I've talked long in the past about the Tappin' Dads and this group that's like these amateur dads. And what's great about them is that they're amateurs. And I'm wondering if, Aiden Bryant is 4 years older, 5 years older, and he's a professional aerialist and he comes on and does this. Is it nearly as interesting? Is it nearly as good?
Right.
I say not. Like, he gets a big bump because he's an amateur, and
Yes.
like, you're a very good aerialist for an amateur.
Right.
You're a very good opera singer for a 9-year-old. Is
Yeah.
he the world's best aerialist? No. Does
No.
he belong in the number 2 spot? I don't feel like he does.
Yeah.
But he gets that amateur bump, like the Tappin' Dads did so long ago. And that's my 2 cents on Aiden. Cody, let's go to commenter first. Do you have any additional thoughts on Aiden Bryant that we haven't said already?
Yeah, I think the point about his amateurism, I think is a good point. And it's kind of the point I've made before of one of the things that's so awesome about this show that people, I think one of the reasons people come back and watch year after year after year is the sense of discovering somebody. Like there's something really kind of interesting about being there from somebody's beginning, and being like, wow, I've been on, the Aiden Bryant train since day one, and now he's famous, whatever. Like that idea of being able to do that's always been something that I think is really intriguing to people. But he's talented. I said after his audition, which would have been months and months ago, that he spins faster than anybody alive. He still spins extremely fast. That was always something that struck me. A little point on him. So I moved back home for a job, and so I'm living at my parents.
spinning speed, would that be like what, rotations per
R-
minute?
R-
RPMs.
RPM,
Yep, your
yes.
classic
Oh, okay.
RPMs.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm living at my parents' right now till I get a place, and so I have to watch the show here. My parents have never watched the show ever, and my dad, who would never watch the show, nothing. My dad would never even care about the show. Still doesn't care. But as he's doing his Sudoku puzzles at the kitchen table at night, and I'm watching this, he's sitting there and hearing everything, and he's like, he should win. I liked him best. So he picked Aiden as the winner. Never seen the show a day in his life. And he was pretty close. He ended up as runner up. He picked them before the results. He's like, I think he should win. So he was close. But I had a feeling that he was going to have a nice run. That's why I picked him. But I never imagined him as runner up. I just liked his. He was the only real aerialist after the aerialist was eliminated, and so sometimes it's nice to corner a market of a talent like that. But he's great. He's not a runner up. I don't think. I had him more in kind of the 7, 8, 9 region of the season of acts. Maybe a top 5 act, but this final point. This performance I thought was really, really good and his best of the season, which I think is saying something. So I love him. I love that he was on my team. It was kind of a Sophie's choice for me as I was sitting there watching both of my acts sitting up there. I'm like, well, I have no idea who it's going to be, but I guess technically it's going to work out well for me either way. But it's like the parent that has 2 kids in the NFL and you trying to decide which game to go to every Sunday. That's basically what I was like last night, watching both of my acts standing up there for the win. I'm basically Peyton Manning's mom.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I was going to say, is Archie having that issue every week?
Yeah, I'm basically Archie Manning is I guess the moral of the story. And Dustin is Peyton, Aiden is Eli. And that's basically all I have to say about this season. I think that pretty much puts everything into perspective.
I did tell my wife that America's Got Talent finale is kind of my Super Bowl of the year. It's exciting. It's always great. I'm more excited to tune into this than I am to tune into the Super Bowl, like literally. So it's
you get your
right there.
you got your chicken wings and your punch. And...
all your snacks for the night.
Open my bag of chips. Yep.
There you go.
100%.
All right, Cody.
That you're watching on delay, right?
Oh, absolutely.
That you're watching.
Yes.
Yeah.
You get the kids to bed. I kind of go out silent on Twitter. I don't look at what people are saying. And until I start to put stuff out there, but I still try not to read what's coming at me. So that's how I do it.
That's hard, man. Good job for you. I personally like Aiden Bryant over Dustin Devella. I think he's more exciting. I think the fact that he learned this 2 years ago and how far he's come in those 2 years is exciting. He's just exciting. His mom helping him with this. I tweeted out, hey, if he wins this, mom should roll out on the lawnmower out onto the stage.
I wanted her out on that lawnmower so bad, and we never got it, unfortunately.
No, I wanted that. So I wanted him to be the winner. I will say though, in our power rankings, I called it. I had him second. So also, Jay, I forgot to plug this in, but Calvin sent us his power rankings for the finals.
Oh, very good.
I have now plugged those in. So thank you, Calvin, for sending those. I got your semifinals. I'll get those plugged in, and we'll just have those on record for down the road. So, I mean, Dustin Devella's fine. He's not exciting. I don't think he's okay. Commenter, real quick. Where do you have Dustin Devella ranked amongst magicians?
Oh, let's do that quick. All-time leaderboard. He's down there. I have him below. I don't have the true number right this second, but I have him below quite a few. I have him below Eric Chen. I have him below Stephen Brundage. I have him below.
Where is he with like John Dornbos?
Dornbos sits at 24 on the all-time leaderboard, and Tavella currently sits at 50. So 26 spots behind John.
Yeah, amongst overall.
Yeah, again, we've talked about the extensiveness of this, but still, I mean, there's a pretty big junk. If we're looking at tiers, John
Yeah.
John sits in tier 4 and Dustin sits down in
Yeah.
tier 7.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that kind of fits because he's not exciting. He's a great storyteller. He's got the
Mhm.
feels. I'm not sure how long he can play the adoption card. I mean, I know that I mean, they're his kids now, and he's adopted.
Yes.
That's the way it is. That's great. Same sister-in-law that's a nurse also adopted kids. It's a great thing to the adoption, but I'm not sure how long he can. I mean, are the kids like 25 and he's still talking about adopting them? So I'm not sure how long this can go. He's gonna have to come up with something else at some point. That's about all I have, Jay. So
Okay. Well, I thought you were
Yeah.
maybe going to talk a little bit more about Aiden Bryant. In that,
yeah,
in that
we
moment.
ventured
Yeah.
into we ventured into
So-
the
so-
wrong guy there, Cody. This
yeah,
was,
sure.
this was-
Okay, yeah. Sir,
So-
yeah. So, Aiden Bryant, I love him. I talked about him. I love. He's exciting. I talked
Okay.
about his mom. He spins and spins. He's got fire. I mean, he's used a different apparatus every performance.
I like
So
that.
he's got versatility. Yep, he's got range. He didn't just stick with just silks or just a hoop. He did all different kinds of things, which I think is a wonderful skill to have. I mean, that's a Vegas act right there. To be able to do what he does on different apparatus.
Okay. Before we talk about Dustin Tavella, let's talk judges' comments for Aiden Bryant quick. Simon said, I stood on the desk because I didn't think a standing ovation is big enough. You're unbelievably talented. 16 years old. Every week you risk your life. Your creativity is off the charts. This was one of the best live performances we've ever seen. Whew. Heidi said, I'm so proud of you. You trained so hard. And Simon standing on the desk and the audience is going crazy. Sophia said, I cannot imagine what you're going through. You're a sensation that America is loving. Howie said, I personally liked your last routine better. And the crowd goes, boo. But they were both brilliant. And Aiden's comment back to the judges, he said, I was in a tree and now I'm here. So it's very, he's come a long ways. Yeah, I don't know. I've said my piece. I'm ready to talk about. I'm now ready to talk about Dustin Tavella.
I already talked about him. I've already done it. So
Yeah, Cody's good. Cody said his piece about Dustin.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me catch up.
Okay.
Dustin Tavella. He's our winning magician. He is on AGT Commenters team, as we mentioned.
Yes.
Results, it was Dustin Tavella or Northwell Nurse Choir. Dustin Tavella was the one going through, and I wanted to point out, like we kind of said, they sort of have that America's Got feels to them,
Right.
And then in the final two, as we mentioned, Dustin Tavella or Aiden Bryant, and I did not expect it to be Dustin Tavella. For his actual act, he takes a picture of his parents, rips it up, and then restores it back to a picture of his parents. Tells a story
It
about.
seemed like at the time a risky picture to be ripping up. That seemed like a real heirloom that he was ripping up. Thankfully, he's a magician and was able to easily put it back together and no problem.
Yeah, I can do that trick with a scanner and a printer. So
Cody, sassy Cody,
Ooh.
Cody's here. Cynical Cody.
Tells a story about how people are the magic, and audience, they all throw ways that they can be the magic that they've written on a piece of paper, and they throw those papers to the judges. The judges pick a paper, and Terry picks the paper that Simon chose, and it says, give my cool clothes to another kid who needs them. And then Terry pops a balloon that was on the stage. Paper comes out and it says, give my clothes to a kid who needs them. Dustin creates a bunch of confetti, and out of it, from the word give that was on the paper, whatever, he creates a bunch of confetti, and all the pieces of confetti say give on them. How long did this last, Cody? Because this was
about 6 Leah Kyles.
gosh.
Yeah, actually, you're about right. Yeah. So let me give you over under 630.
Under.
Over.
642.
Ah,
Felt like 1242. Like, man, these acts that just go on and on and on. And there's something about Dustin's delivery that I get bored. Like my eyes get heavy, and I just like
he's
I'm-
soothing.
it's too much. I'm just
Yeah.
I don't know. This works for him, right?
Yep.
It works.
It won him the show.
One of the guys I was interacting with on Twitter said it was schmaltzy. And it's like,
Schmaltzy. That's a great
That's
word.
the word I was looking for, schmaltzy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he tweeted
Yeah,
back
that's
and
a
he said
great
you could
word.
also use cloying and corny.
He's very corny.
Man, we
He's
are-
very.
We're throwing
like-
out the SAT words.
The
Yeah,
word I
we're
wanted to
basically
use
a
was
vocabulary
saccharine, but it's
podcast.
not necessarily sweet. It's just
Yeah.
schmaltzy.
Schmaltzy.
So yeah, so thank you for that, Geekazoid.
It's also slightly cringy, I think, is another word at times.
yeah.
That he dips into some cringy moments too, which is about the worst thing you can have when you're trying to entertain people, is some type of cringe. But clearly, people didn't really care.
Yeah, I can go there. Like, so I kind of divided this into the good, the bad, and the ugly, right?
Mhm.
The good, like as a motivational speaker,
Yeah.
he's very good, right? He comes off as a really good guy. You know, if I can overcome, you can overcome. There is love in the world. The world can be better because of you, because of us. You know, like we can do this, right? And like as a motivational speaker, he's an A+. Okay. The bad, like the magic isn't good.
Yeah.
Right. And then the ugly, and like
Uh-oh.
this is like I'm an adoptive parent.
Yes.
I've grown up around cousins who were adopted, and you know, at the end of the day, I feel like the adoption story is the story for the adoptee to tell.
Right.
You know, what's the situation? You know, it's not my place to give that away, and we've kind of touched on this already. And yeah, I don't love that this is such an important part of his act. Like it makes me uncomfortable.
Sure.
And you know, maybe that's where my brain goes into, you know, some sort of survival mode. You know, it's like I'm just going to shut off, and
Right.
you know, my eyes close and I fall asleep during the act because I don't want to have to face the uncomfortable feelings that him using this adoption story, or you know, whatever his parents' addiction was story,
Right.
for his own gain. So I have issues there with the way that he motivates people, but you know, I can't deny that people are motivated by it.
Yeah.
He just literally won the show with it. So
Yeah.
I've said my piece.
Yep.
Cody, I think you've said your piece.
Yeah. Cody
I do
jumped
wanna
the gun
add
a
one-
little.
Yeah,
Oh, great.
I do want to add one additional thing to mine, though, is that
Yep.
he's great at keeping the act going. Like nothing trips him up. You know, we ran into Peter Antonio where his performance went completely sideways, and he's
My
like,
favorite moment
oh,
of the season, by the way.
yeah, he's like, oh, that's interesting. We're just gonna like forget about you. You're dead to me. But yet,
Yeah.
if something goes wrong for him, he knows how to adjust, and I think that is what a great magician can do. He doesn't give off that something is wrong. He can move on to something else, or he adjusts his story, whatever it may be, and that is what's great about him. The tricks themselves are not top notch. They're not excellent, but the way that he can maneuver around the trick is really good.
All right. Commenter, do you have more to say about Dustin Tavella?
I do.
I thought
He's
maybe
my
you did.
champion. Yeah. I wasn't gonna plead the fifth on this one. I haven't pleaded the fifth on this podcast yet. I'm not starting now. He's my champ. I'll always love him. He brought me a victory. I'm very proud to have picked the winner. but he shouldn't have won. I like Dustin. He's a fine act. I don't even he's a borderline finalist, I think, talent wise. Everything you guys have said is correct, and he's a super run of the mill mentalist. He's not even really a magician. I think there's a very different there. He's not doing real tricks like magic tricks. He's doing mentalist tricks. And it's not on the level of some other mentalists we've seen. Cody, you and I rewatched Oz Perlman this past spring. I mean, his performances are, I mean, they pale in comparison to stuff Oz was doing.
There's some amount of sleight of hand that he does as well.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. He did Oz's final performance. Like he literally did Oz's final performance.
Yeah.
No, actually, sorry. Antonio did Oz's finals performance.
Yes.
Sorry. Yeah. And screwed it up.
Yeah, big time. Yeah. But, and so everything you guys said, seems like a great guy he is. And he tried to shoot down, I think, the Dorn boss lane a little bit of, he's a great storyteller. He can paint a picture. He can tell a story. He can grip you that way. Now he may lose you because of what he's talking about, like Jay had said with him. But if you are interested in what he's saying, he's good at it to grab you. Like he can grab you. He's a great storyteller. Last night I didn't have a chance to be super shocked that he won because I was so excited that I won the fantasy draft. I had rose-colored glasses on pretty hard. But looking back at it, and the more I look back at the season, he's a shocking winner. The fact that he won. I mean, when we got the 36 acts that made it to the live shows before our fantasy draft, if you would have told me he won, I mean, that would have been one of I would never have believed it. And I don't know if we want to do it now in terms of looking at the season as a whole, in terms of how open it was. Maybe we can do it after because I have a whole kind of bit on that. But he's an average mentalist that's great at telling stories. He won people over in one way or another. I guess perhaps the adoption thing clicks with a lot of people. I don't know.
I'll give judges comments and then we can kind of pivot to that then.
Okay, perfect.
Simon said, "You really are amazing. You're an amazing storyteller. I'm so happy you're on the show and on the stage. I love everything about you. I predict you will be one of the final 2 tomorrow night."
Right on.
Sophia said, "You have found your lane and stuck to it. That's a good choice. It's been great." Howie said, "I think you gave yourself a shot at winning this. Your relatability makes the impossible possible."
Yep.
So that's judges' comments. Simon nailed it. One of the final 2. In fact, one of the final 1. So, there you go. All right, commenter, back to you.
Yeah. So Simon actually, when they showed the recap of Tuesday night last night, Simon, they do the thing where they show the judges after performance, kind of a behind the scenes look, and they're talking after. Simon, I can't remember what performance, but they had a clip of him saying that this is the most open final we'd ever seen, that I have no idea what's going to happen. I think it's right up there. I was kind of racking my brain, and again, I'm more expert on the later seasons, but even if we just do the Simon Cowell era, which is 11 on, this is far and away the most open season. Now, the elephant in the room that I mentioned last night is Nightbird. If she's able to continue on in the competition, I don't think there's a question that she wins. I think she waltzes away with the competition. Maybe I'm wrong there. You guys can maybe agree or disagree, but like, I think this was her competition to win, but no doubt. And so once she withdrew, it opened this thing up like crazy. And if you just go back through the Simon Cowell seasons, 11, it was Grace VanderWaal start to finish. There really was no question. 12, Darcy, maybe Angelica Hale had a chance, but it really was Darcy's season start to finish. 13 was kind of open, but as it dwindled down, I think it really became a Shin Lim, Brian King Joseph, Zerkero battle. 14 was Cody Lee start to finish. And 15, I think the more we've looked back on it, was pretty clear it was Brandon Leaks once the live shows hit. It was his. This was so open, and it was part of why I was so excited for this finale and for last night's results, because I really was really had no idea what was going to happen. And this was kind of a shocking result. He's not a great winner. He's one of the lower winners. Maybe we'll get to that. I'll tease that, but one of the lower winners we've ever had. And I was bummed that this is the guy that's going to be the winner of season 16 because I thought there was better acts.
Okay. I guess, he certainly outperformed our expectations. Were there any other acts that we want to say it outperformed or underperformed expectations that we want to point out here?
I thought Brooke Simpson going into the live shows, I didn't have any sense that this is what she would get to. I mean, she went, 26 in our draft. I think in terms of underperforming, for me, One Accord slightly underperformed. I felt like they should have been a finalist. But not that they got sent home when they shouldn't have, but I just felt like they were going to put together a better live show run. But other than that, I thought for the most part, it wasn't that overly egregious who we had in the finals. I just don't think he should have won. I don't know about you, Cody.
I don't think he should have won. Yeah, I don't think he should have won. I think there was 3 or 4 other acts that were a much better winner than him.
Yeah. Dustin aside, the my first 2 picks off the board, Unicircle Flow and Gangsta Grass, both
Gangsta Grass
underperformed. And I really thought that Gangsta Grass was gonna do something special this season. I thought that they might be, the Northwell Health Nurse Choir. They might give us those feels and sort of that unity that we all need right now. But this was not their time, and they didn't even make it past quarters. Unicircle Flow, I've professed my love for them, and we'll continue to. I could see them, like we said, performing next to World Taekwondo in the AGT Vegas, show at the Luxor, which you can go see.
Yes.
So yeah, that's my piece about that. I guess where else do we want to take this podcast, commenter?
Cody, did you have some ideas of what we wanted to talk about to finish?
So real quick, I did get a message from my mom right before the results, and this was her top 5.
Okay.
So I thought this was very interesting. So she had Leah Kyle, Victory, Jimmy, Taekwondo, and singer from Lee University.
Which we're pretty sure is Brooke Simpson.
So thanks for that, Mom. Appreciate
She
that.
had 2 of the top 5 were correct.
Yeah. And I'll also do a mom thoughts quick as well. So as I mentioned with my dad's prediction, my mom watched the season a little bit more, kind of from the third quarter final on. She was watching with me. She'd never watched the show either. She wanted Josh Blue or World Taekwondo to win, and her main point from last night was that it was way too long of an episode for the results, which I concur. So that was the big takeaway. But she really liked Josh Blue and World Taekwondo. So the moms putting their 2 cents in.
Yeah. Do we want to quickly kind of just go over the results show just real quick?
Yeah. Idina Menzel performed with Jimmy Harada and Northwell Nurse Choir, sang Defying Gravity. Jordan Childs and Michaela Skinner performed with World Taekwondo Demonstration Team and Aiden Bryant. That's the Olympic gymnasts, if you recall. Leah Kyle did a little bit of a skit with Heidi Klum, like a video package where they changed Heidi's clothes a few times. Brooke Simpson sang a song. I feel like I'd heard it somewhere before. It was what's it called? White Flag with Bishop Briggs.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. She sang it last night. Okay.
Jeez, a little picky there, huh?
That's right. Well, you know what? Like, honest to goodness, like they were in the middle of the song, and I was like, "Is this the same song?" Like, White Flag. That phrase sounds familiar. Is that the song she sang last night? I looked it up, and yeah, it was. So, like,
me and Cody, we talked about. Oh, you got some.
I was just gonna say, like, it stuck with me so little that I didn't even really remember that it was a song that she had sung just 24 hours ago.
Me and Cody talked about during our Kenichi rewatch that year. I don't know if they did it other years, but everyone for the finale redid their audition performance. They did the exact same performance, whether it was song, act, from their audition, which me and Cody thought was a really cool idea. I'd love to see that again. I think that would be exciting. I know that they want to use the big names to get more eyes and do all that. I get that, but I would love that to see. Cody and I, we kind of talked about, well, is it better than the first time they did it? Like, how did they change? Like, how does it look a second time and stuff? I would really like that, but yeah, this doing the same song 2 nights in a row is kind of tough.
Yeah. We talked about George Lopez and Gina Brion already. Idina Menzel came back out and sang a song from Cinderella.
She's got the same agent as a producer on the show or something, because there's no way she got 2 spots for no reason.
Hard to say what was going on there. Sophia pranked Simon back.
Which was great, by the way.
Pranking her.
That was actually good.
That was a terrific segment.
Okay, so I'll unpack that a little bit then, if we want to go there.
Sure.
So Simon pranked Sophia, brought on Deadly Games, and made it appear.
Ryan Stock and Amber Lynn.
You're right.
Very confusing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It was
I
Ryan
get them
Stock and Amber Lynn.
confused too.
So Ryan Stock and Amber Lynn pretended to shoot Simon while Sophia was blindfolded, or actually made it look like Sophia was the one that shot him. So Sophia, to get back at him, she has a whole thing going on. They're going to have this installation at the Luxor with busts of each of the judges' heads, and she has the artist just totally exaggerate Simon's features. His teeth are big and his forehead's huge and his hair's just all wonky. And they have this art installation, and they have, Simon, cut the ribbon and do this big reveal. And all the judges are like, "Oh, I love it. It's fantastic." And Simon's like, "This sucks." and like, he gets kind of rude about it. And, she calls him out for being rude. And, he's like, "I don't know how much this costs, but I will pay for a new one because I do not like this. And this is not going on display." And, yada, 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 you've been pranked. So she got him back. And I think she got him back pretty well.
Yeah. And Simon really was like a pretty poor sport about it. I mean, you just don't. Yeah, I mean, the artist is there. And they said they were live streaming the event. It's like, man, come on, have a little class,
Yeah, but at the same time, so yeah, I agree with you. Kind of just take it on the chin and then just later discuss it. I'm with you, but at the same time, you're Simon Cowell.
Yeah,
we know Simon. He's the most vain human being on the planet. 1 and 2. It was a really poor. It was a really poorly done sculpture. Like, he should be up. Like, come on, we couldn't make this look a little bit more like me. So, but no, it's a perfect prank for that personality. Okay, it's the Simon prank that works on. It doesn't work on Howie. Howie would have played with it, laughed, been like, that didn't look like me, LOL, and went that route. But Simon's the perfect personality to pull that prank on. So I thought it was very funny.
Yeah. The other thing was like all the Howie and Sophia and Heidi were like all dressed up and all fancy. Simon's in like jeans and a t-shirt.
Yeah. No, it was a great segment.
There are some famously bad artworks, statues.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
The Ronaldo one is one
bad.
of them. The
aren't there
Lucille
some like
Ball
NFL Hall of Fame busts that are not good?
I'm not sure about those, but
Okay.
Lucille Ball is an awful one. And then is it Brandy Chastain? Is another just horrendous. So
yeah, the Ronaldo one might be the worst though.
Yeah, search those up if you're interested in this kind of humor.
Yeah.
So there you go. Moving on with the results show, in an attempt to keep this a little bit tighter. Not quite as tight as Leah Kyle's performance, but we're not going Peter Antonio here.
Yeah,
well, I'm looking at this. The first time I've seen this picture. That is awful.
Which one?
The Ronaldo.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look anything like him. It's terrible.
That is awful.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Terry Crews delivered some instruments to a middle school.
Yeah, good guy. Good guy.
He really enjoyed doing that. We got Matt Franco doing a trick with Dustin Tavella, and Rico Rodriguez joins them on stage.
For no reason.
Well, because
Manny from Modern Family.
Yeah, no, that makes it. But he
Okay.
didn't. He wasn't like, oh, we need him because of this certain skill set. He wasn't.
Okay.
They could have just picked someone from the crowd.
It's supposed to be Sophia Manny reunion.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, that was great. Heartwarming
Okay.
stuff.
Okay.
all right. What was probably my favorite package here? We had Josh Blue along with well, he's going to ask for advice from all these other former contestants and people. He talks to Howie Mandel, talks to Kenichi Ibina, talks to Piff the Magic Dragon, Preacher Lawson, Taylor Williamson, and Tom Cotter.
Yes.
They all gave him different advice, conflicting advice as to how to handle the pressure of the finals and everything else. I thought this was a lot of fun. I'm Cody, I'm sure you have comments about this.
Yeah, I loved the comic one, and the Piff one was like right on the nose, because Piff's like, why do you want to win? Like, third place is the best. It's like,
yes,
you don't have to pay taxes on $1 million. You still get all the famous notoriety. You get a Vegas theater named after you.
I have to butt in on that. So Ryan Niemiller tweeted out at Josh Blue and Gina before about, hey, if you take third, you can just join the fraternity of third place or whatever. And I tweeted back, I responded and was like, people forget that third place is the best spot to be, because you don't have the eternal regret of finishing second and knowing how close you came that the runner-up has. And you don't have all the annoying responsibility that comes with being the winner. Instead, you just get the fame. Everybody kind of forgets that you took third. There's no real pressure as the third place person. You just get to book gigs, and like, it's 100%. And then Piff the Magic Dragon came through and said the exact same thing. So Piff and I, similar brains.
I really like Piff.
Yeah, you don't have the Tom Cotter joke of finish runner up to dogs.
You're not a bridesmaid. It's not the always a bridesmaid, never a bride thing. It's like third place. Everybody's like, wow, third place, that's impressive. Runner up, it's like, ooh, so close.
Almost.
Yeah, that hurts. That stinks. But third's like, wow, great job. So third place is the place to be.
All right. So that was Josh Blue's package, and then Victory Brinker performed with Pentatonics.
Cody's highlight of the night, highlight of the season for Cody.
They sang, we've been over it, Cody. They sang The Prayer by Celine Dion and Andrea Bocelli. I honestly thought that this was really good. I thought this was a really good performance.
Okay.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it as well.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Cody, we got to get Pentatonics and the Latte Dogs on stage together at some point to really cheer you up.
Pentatonics were at the Iowa State Fair. Was it 3 years ago, 4 years ago, maybe 3 years ago?
Wow. Sorry, Cody, they stooped so low to go down to the Iowa State Fair.
The best state fair.
Gosh.
No,
Cody,
you know what? We went to go
it.
see them. We went to go see them, and I enjoyed the heck out of them. While they were there.
I'm glad. So, I'm happy.
So bitter.
Hey, I'm happy if other people are enjoying other types of music. If they enjoy that, that's great. Not my thing.
Oh man.
All right. So that was the results show that leads up to the actual results in the last half an hour. So and I try to treat that results show as just sort of a celebration of the season.
Yes, that's what it is.
I always love it when they bring back some of the joke acts, and they do a montage of all the weird and wacky things that we saw. We didn't get any sense of that this season. No more Seth Word this year. But maybe he's already past his prime.
I would think so. Yeah.
Jay, this may be a good time to tease that we'll be having our season 3 rewatch here in a few weeks. Yes. And if you like getting joke acts in the finals, we'll have plenty of that for you when we do our rewatch.
Okay. I don't specifically remember what you're talking about, so I'm excited for that.
Commenter, so I had some other questions. Okay, so we talked about Dustin Tavella. Where does he rank in AGT winners?
Yeah, so there's been 16, as we know. He currently sits, after the numbers were ran, I crunched the numbers. He currently sits at number 13 on the winner leaderboard, ahead only
Okay.
The Alate Dogs,
Nice.
Landau Eugene Murphy Jr., and Kevin Skinner. Friend of the podcast, Landau, by the way,
Yes.
and Kevin Skinner.
Okay.
In order, I guess I can quickly run through. Shin Lim 1, Darcy Lynn 2, Grace Vanderwall 3, Paul Zerden 4, Bianca Ryan 5, Matt Franco 6, Terry Fader 7, Cody Lee 8, Kenichi Ubina 9, Brandon Leak 10, Michael Graham 11, Neely Boyd 12, Dustin DeVello 13, Alate Dogs 14, Landau 15, and Kevin Skinner now 16th.
Ooh, you've got like the, white male singers all in that bottom half, pretty
Yeah, it was
kind of stacked down there.
Yeah, I mean, my top 4 winners are seasons 13, 12, 11, and 10. It was a murderer's row. Those 4 years were terrific seasons.
All right. Well, boy, this has been a journey and a half to get through all eight editions.
There were 8 audition episodes this year.
Zero judge cuts.
8 auditions.
There were 8 auditions. 8.
8 auditions.
0 judge cuts. 3 quarterfinals, 2 semifinals, and a finals, and all the results shows that came along with all those live shows. So it's been a journey. It's been fun. Commenter, you drafted a really good team.
I appreciate it.
I give you kudos.
Yeah. Can I say one final thing on the fantasy thing?
Sure. Yeah.
I'm so excited that it's over. This was exhausting. I mean, the amount of fake happy tweets I had to send out in support of my team. There was so many fake all caps tweets I sent out that I was not actually feeling those emotions at all. It was, I'm lying on Twitter if I'm all caps overly excited, because most of my tweets are with periods. If there's a bunch of exclamation points, it's probably I'm putting on a show. I have been exhausted for the last 5 weeks trying to fake the enthusiasm, or 6 weeks, whatever it's been. I need a break. This has been a real journey for myself emotionally. And I'm very excited that I don't have to pretend to care about Matt Johnson's quarterfinals performance anymore, and tweet out how proud I am of him and how gritty he is. That got old fast, but at the end of the day, hopefully it got me a couple extra votes that led me to a resounding victory. And the final thing I'll say, Cody, your point total was astonishingly low. I mean, it was ridiculous. Yes. We didn't talk about it really. 7 points.
7 points. Not even double digits. I didn't even get to double digits.
You lost to me by 46 points. And
yes.
I just last week, after it became pretty clear that you had only had one finals act and that you had no chance to win, I started a hashtag Be Nice to Cody Day on Twitter, because I just felt like you needed to pick me up. So I'm not going to rub in. I'm not going to rub it in.
No, hey, I'm a good sport about it. That's fine.
You don't need me to tell you how horrendous your team was. You already know that, and so I won't say it.
So overall, my team, on paper, my team wasn't that bad. I mean, it wasn't.
That's not how that works.
Well, but I mean, I just didn't get America. I just didn't get the love from America. But I've been doing fantasy for 20 years.
Yes.
I played in tons of fantasy leagues. I've done different types of sports. I have been whipped one side and down another. I'm used to this, but I still love doing fantasy. It's so much fun. It's rooting for players and teams that you never would have even imagined rooting for. It just adds a whole new perspective on the entertainment that you're watching. So,
and I'll say,
I really love doing that. Yep.
I'll say, for the podcast's sake, me winning was one of the 2 results that made the most sense for the content. Either me winning because I was going to go way over the top and be a total loser about it, or me losing. You wanted me either to win or lose. Second place would have been like, if I lost, then I'm a great heel. Okay, I'm great when I have egg on my face. We saw that last year when Danelia was in the bottom 5. It's great for content. So we got one of the 2 results that was best for the podcast, which I'm happy about. But I do appreciate you guys letting me partake this year. It was a lot of fun. albeit quite stressful for me.
Yep. Yeah.
You stress out about this way too much, man. Like
I know. I knew I was gonna. I loved it, and so when I love it, I just go all in, and I couldn't help myself.
No, it's been fun. I do feel like a couple of breaks could have really especially with how inflated the points were in the last, in the top five. It really could have gone either way. And I was close with my team. The points don't show how close it was, but it was a fun journey. I enjoyed being on it.
Yeah, 100%.
So one final thing, Jay, and then we'll put a bow on season 16. Steven Anderson, our good friend Steven Anderson, is in the chat for the live stream. Someone has to be really bad to take Skinner out of the last place spot.
Ooh,
he's 100% correct.
The chicken catcher.
The chicken catcher. Seems like a great guy, not a great singer.
Yeah. So those of you that have stuck around for our 2-hour podcast, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of let you know what's happening next. So Jay and I are going to take a week off, take a break from AGT for a little bit. And then we're going to start up our season 3 rewatch. And unlike last year, we're actually going to do one episode at a time. Right, Jay?
That's the plan.
Watching two auditions every week was a
daunting.
Lot. Yeah. So we're going to take our time. We're going to go through it. We're going to watch. We're going to do it week by week, just like we do for the normal season. Commenter's got some stuff going on for work, so he's going to kind of take a step back for a little bit. But then like November, maybe ish.
Yeah, and around Thanksgiving, probably a little before Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
be a little more free.
So yeah. Commenter will be back. We'll start up the rewatchables.
Very excited.
We'll plug very excited. We got a whole list of rewatchables of things we want to do there. We're going to plug those in. We'll maybe do a couple weeks of our season 3 rewatch, do a rewatchable. Another couple weeks, do a rewatchable. So we're going to kind of put those in every little bit. Holidays are coming up as well. We'll take some time off for holidays, but stick around. If you've stuck around for 2 hours listening to us talk about this finale, then we're hoping you're going to be here for our off-season stuff. We're real excited. We got a lot going on. We're not going anywhere.
Not to mention there's also AGT Extreme coming up.
Yes.
Thank you. Yep. AGT Extreme scheduled for the winter, I'm guessing. And Steven, if you're still in the chat, guessing that's going to be January-ish, maybe. We just don't know. We'll wait. If that comes out, we'll pause our rewatch. We'll jump to Extreme and do that, and then we'll resume our rewatch after that. Hoping to get some interviews, maybe have some guests. We got a lot going on. So stay tuned. Keep listening. Keep us in your feed. Any final thoughts, guys, before we put a bow on season 16? That's all I got.
It was wasn't a terrible season, wasn't a great season. There's acts that I'll remember forever, just like every other season, and a winner that I think I'll probably forget a little bit.
Final thoughts, man. There were acts that I loved that underperformed, like there are every season. There were acts that I didn't care for that overperformed, like there are every season. Mm-hmm. All things considered, it's the show that I love. I will keep coming back as long as it's on the air. Thank you, America's Got Talent, for being a bright spot in my week.
Yep. So just to kind of recap, you can reach us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at AGT Time Pod. You can email us agttimepod@gmail.com. Rate, review, comment, tell your friends, whatever. But do keep listening. Do let us know. Keep in touch because we're going to be here. So that's all I got. Anything else?
Stay safe, everybody.
Have a great night.
Have a great night.